Every time you open up Claude Chat to explain your business from scratch, what you do, what you sell, how you operate, you're not actually utilizing AI, you're simply babysitting it. This is what we call the blank slate trap, and this is why most people are not able to get the best out of AI. They simply struggle to get the kind of outcome they could manually produce. Now, I used to have the same problem, but I changed the way I operate. Now, whenever I open up Claude, it knows my business, it knows my voice, it knows my entire team and everything about me. And no, I'm not using Claude's built-in memory. What I'm doing instead is using a second brain. And today I'm going to open up the entire thing for you to show you exactly how I built my second brain, how I use it, and how you can copy and do this for yourself. Now, for this, we built a 4-layer system, which is exactly what I'll walk you through so you can build your own as well. It consists of 4 components: the memory, the wiring, the skills, and the rhythm. And again, I'm going to explain all of these to you step by step so you can build this alongside me and then utilize it as a second brain for your own business. And these layers are important because most second brains that people try and build are simply a clone of Claude's memory, but we actually use that memory as a starting point and build, dynamically improve, and utilize all that information. So let's start with memory and we'll start building our second brain right now. Oh, I do want to point out, when you build your second brain, it looks a little bit like this. Now, I've seen other videos from creators and they show you something like this, which in the first instance looks pretty cool, but honestly, it takes a little bit of effort to get to this, especially if you haven't used Obsidian, which is what I'm going to walk you through today. Now, most people's AI has amnesia by design because they don't constantly update it. They don't really have a benchmark to start off in the first place, and this is what we're going to fix with the first layer. Now, chances are you already have some of this stuff inside your Claude or ChatGPT account, and I'm going to show you right now how to access it. So the very first thing that you need to do is go into settings in your Claude account, and you will see skills, as well as what you need to look for then is memory. Now, within Claude, if you actually head over to privacy right over here, you will see that you have the ability to export data, which can be really useful because you can then utilize that data to train up your second brain. Again, I'm going to show you how to do that in a few minutes. But if you want to take a shortcut, you can go to memory preferences and you can update how the memory is collected in Obsidian. And you're also able to download this memory if you want to, and that is what we're going to do. So the simplest way is to go into privacy, click on export data, and depending on the time frame, you can download conversations, users, projects. And this is very useful because then you can re-upload this back into Claude when you start building out your second brain. So first step, do this. I'm going to export my 90 days worth of data, which at this point is enough to just update my second brain. Then you can go into memory preferences and you are able to look at what Claude knows about you, how it is viewing your memory. And you can simply copy and paste this somewhere else for later use, or you can circle back to this later on. Now, this is a really good kickoff point for you because you now have locked in your memory. But if you're only utilizing memory as your second brain, then it's something static that only gets updated when Claude deems it necessary. It's not a living, breathing document that you need to have. Now, in step 2, we're going to look at wiring and see exactly how you need to keep this memory dynamic. So do follow along with me. And by the way, if you like this video, make sure to join Air Revenue Engine, where I show a lot of things like these so you can actually run your business using the power of AI on autopilot. Anyway, let's get into wiring and let me walk you through how to set up wiring for your second brain. Now, depending on how complex your wiring setup is, you might be looking at 2, 4, even 10 sources of information to update your second brain all the time. For example, in my case, a lot of the time that gets spent for me in a day is within Asana. Asana is basically a project management platform where I communicate with my team, where there is direct updates from me and myself and my team about all the different things that we're working on. So that is what we would call a source of truth. The second thing that is important is team chat. So a lot of things happen within our team chat. People update every single day what they're working on and what they've finished. We discuss about what features we're going to add or something that got missed that we need to go back in and improve or fix. And then we've got the emails. Emails are really useful because a lot of useful information comes to you. And at least I have the bad habit of not checking my emails all the time, which means sometimes I can be out of the loop with the projects that I'm working on. And finally, for me, the second most important source of truth is my Google Documents or Google Sheets or Google Slides. So, for example, any kind of sales material that we write, any emails that we write, typically go into Google Documents. Any financial things that we need to update go into Google Documents and Sheets. So, what you have to do to build your second brain is at all times update this information in real time or as close to real time as you can get. Because when you do this, you'll be able to have a second brain that lives and breathes with you. It's not out of sync with you. And you can depend on it to be up to date and utilize it exactly how you see fit. Now, if you go to Claude's and settings, Claude's got a very useful features called MCPs. This is where you connect to external services, practically using APIs, so that you are able to extract and even write information to these places if you want to. So I'm going to show you what that looks like when you go to connectors. Now, connectors is where you, like I said, directly connect to other things that sit outside of Claude. So in my case, I've connected to Asana. They also have different such as ClickUp and Apollo for lead generation. They've got PayPal, Superbase, Stripe. Almost everything is available. All you have to do is search for something, a software that you use, and figure that out. But Asana is a good one. Google Calendar is a good one as well. Then you've got Google Drive, which is where Google Documents and Sheets sit. And you've got other things here as well. I've got Auto actually, which is what records all of my meetings. So again, that for me is also an important source of truth for my content. Now, I've got all these different things. All you have to do to connect with one of them is go here, click connect, and it takes you over to the web browser where with a simple integration, you are ready to go. So as you can see right here, my GitHub is up connected, and now I can extract information from GitHub if I wanted to. Not in this case, this is not something I want to do, so I'll leave it at that. But again, for me, Asana, Google Drive, Author are really, really important. Email's important too. It's up to you how you want to add that, but you can add whatever sources you want. Now, Claude also gives you the ability, if you're a little bit advanced, to actually connect to sources that don't have an official MCP, but that's outside the scope of this video. You can check out other content from me to see how to connect different sources into Claude using the MCP model. But once you have the wiring in place, this allows you to dynamically update your second brain. Now, you're probably thinking at this point, Neil, how do we actually build our second brain from the memory and the wiring that we have? So let's take a pause before we get to skills, and let's go ahead and with one shot, or one time rather, we're going to build out our second brain using Claude. Now, as I previously mentioned, we are using Obsidian to build our second brain. If you're not aware of Obsidian, do some research, but essentially, this is where you can put in a lot of your markup files, and in the simplest form, it makes it easy for you to review all these markup files. And markup files are something that these large language models can pick up and read very easily. So it's good to rely on them to coalesce all your information. So as you build this out, you're going to build out everything about everything in your business. That is what we're relying on. We are relying on this Obsidian as the condensed source of information for all the data that you have on your entire business. So whenever in the future you're trying to look for something, it becomes easy to find it from this one thing, and it becomes easy to update this as well. And I'm able to access that using Claude Cowork, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to switch to Claude Cowork, and I use Sonnet at all times because that serves my purpose. Then you need to choose a folder. So in my case, I've got the folder already, which is this one KVS Marketing Obsidian, and this is where all these files are placed. So every single file that I have previously collected is placed in here. Now, of course, I have somewhere to start off with, so I'm going to show you that. But if you don't even need to worry about having anything saved in that folder. You could practically start from an empty folder. So then you're going to type in the prompt into Claude Cowork. I want your help to build a second brain. Start by looking at my memory and organizing it in an easy to navigate and easy to follow folder structure that we are going to use for now. Just present me the folder structure they will be utilizing. Once I approve it, we can start building it out. So Claude's going to internally review its memory. You can, of course, copy and paste the memory that you're previously given as well. And we're going to let Claude figure out how it's going to organize the folders. Now, do note you have full control over how you want these folder names to be. You can change something you don't like. You can add a folder name. You can remove a folder name. It is entirely up to you. And it's okay that when the wiring is in place, it might realize that some folders shouldn't exist or some other folders should exist. So you can always dynamically change this later. Now, I've actually restarted the process in an empty folder to show you what that would look like for you if you're just starting out. But again, if you already have a folder structure in place, you can just continue to use a wiring feature and add more information to these markup files to your second brain. But now it's reviewing my memory that it has contextualized, and it's going to give me a folder structure that may work for me. And again, in the process, it's going to ask you questions. You can just go ahead and answer these questions, such as what should the second brain be built from? Where does my memory live? So it could be Claude's memory about me as a starting point, which is what we want. Then what's the primary use of the second brain? So this is business ops primarily, and it's going to build something for you based on that. Okay, so the recommendation now is to have this kind of structure, which is memory, it's product offers, campaigns, bonus library, content, playbooks, SOPs, research, people partners, and reference. Now, this is actually pretty good. It has more information than I previously did. So it's already giving me ideas about what more I could have. But this is good. And you can then ask it to execute and build this for you. When you do, it's going to build out a skeleton folder structure, which again, I showed you earlier, but let's look at that again. So this on the left is typically what your folder structure would look like. Now, like I pointed out, there are some things that I don't have in here that I could possibly add, but that's okay. Now let's go back and look at the wiring and ask Claude to update information based on the wiring that we have. So once your base is built up, we're going to start working with connectors, and this is the prompt that I want you to use. I want you to review the folder to see what kind of information we have in there right now. I want you to go ahead and use the Asana connector to look at some of the projects inside of KB Social that are not already covered and update the second brain, basically all the markup files with additional information, review over the last 90 days. And I've given it some context because I wanted to work in a limited time frame for now. But if you're executing the rhythm properly that I'll show you in step 4, then you wouldn't have to do this manually like this. It can just happen automatically pre-scheduled. Now it's come back with some responses saying it's not able to get some details. So I'm going to go ahead and reconnect Asana so it's able to actually access it. Now, don't worry if something like this takes some time. For me, I've got 13 years of data in there, so there's a lot to collect, there's a lot to review, and it is doing that right now. So it's still progressing, and I want to show you that it's found multiple different projects already. It's still retrieving a lot of those, and it's starting to write the files as we speak. So I'm going to show you as soon as I have an update. So the cool thing is that all these files are getting updated in real time. So you can see a list right over here. Because there's been a lot of tasks that relate to it, all these files are being updated. So for example, we didn't have Odin AI before, and I'm going to show you this right now. We've got this Odin AI launch over here. So this is a new file that has just been added right over here somewhere. There we go. So you can see this is the file that's been added, and it's even given me an update of where each and every task is, if it's been completed or not, or if it is still pending. And you can see this file over here. It's added Odin AI launch along with 1 hour traffic machine launch as well. And you can see it's even letting me know if something has been done or not. But again, this is just one source of information. Once this setup is done, what we're going to do is we're going to run it against Google Docs and Google Sheets and ask it to master things and put the right URLs where they belong so we can access them at a later date. See, when you start to build out something like this for yourself, you're able to finally build a second brain that understands everything about you in real time. But again, so far, we're only looking at the memory and the wiring and then how to actually build this in the first place. Now, 2 more things that I want to show you, which are very, very crucial to get the best results out of this. Now, next up is skills. If you're not aware, skills are things that you use inside of Claude all the time. I'm going to show you some of mine right now. So going into Claude, if you head down to skills, you can see all the different skills that you have installed and you're using. And these are very important for me. For example, if I want to make a demo, I use the demo outline maker. If I want to write email copies, I use Neil Promo Copy. If I want to write Facebook posts, I use this. If I want to pick bonuses, I use this. So I have skills for a lot of different things in my business, but I don't have skills for everything. So this is what we're going to do in Claude next. We're going to set up a new chat and we're going to work in Claude Cowork within this platform, and we're going to ask Claude a simple question. I want you to review all the files in this folder. Now, based on what I typically do here, what kind of skills do you think I can make that are going to serve me well in my business? Give me all the ideas that you can and rank them based on usability, based on how much work they're going to remove for me and how effective they will be. So even at times, if you don't realize what kind of manual work that you're doing, how it could be automated, you can let Claude have a go at it and understand your entire business from the top down perspective and give you ideas on what kind of skills you can create to automate things that you are manually doing right now. So let's look at what Claude recommends based on the kind of information that's been added into our second brain. Okay, so Claude has now gone through 90 pages of products and launches and everything else, and it's giving me multiple ideas that I could make right now, that I could use. And the cool thing is, I can go back and tell Claude to actually start building this. Ask me questions if you want any, to start filling them in. So right now, we have a list of 14 total ideas, which are 14 new skills that I can add that are going to make things easy for me. For example, we've got pre-launch QA checklist, we've got subscription cancellation, refund guardrail, product description, bulk generator, and all these things as well. So this is absolutely incredible way of utilizing your business information to build repeatable skills that you can use in your business and you can even share with your team. But the most important part that we need to get to now is the rhythm of all this, because all this is good. Building a static memory, then moving into dynamic second brain is fantastic, and skills are great too. But if you're not updating it regularly, then you're going to get left behind and you'll be looking at information that is out of date. So it's a very simple ask right here. I want to run a monthly update with you where you use my memory stored inside Claude and use my connection with Asana and Google Documents in Google Sheets and to update my second brain and do that in Obsidian. So how can we do that? So I'm just going to let Claude guide me, right? This is the part where you will have to get a little bit advanced. You will have to set up structures and systems, and you can actually do these things on schedule as well, right? So you can actually have Claude run this on a schedule if you wanted to. I'm not going to do that right now, but it is possible for you to do this. And when you do this, you're able to have Claude automatically access your Asana, Google, Inbox, Auto for notes, anything to update all the business information that is essential. So this is everything you control. This is everything that you have access to. And then whenever you want to work on something, all you have to do is point it to that folder and say, this is what I'm planning to do. What are your thoughts based on all the work that we have done before? Is it something reusable we can do? Is there something that we can utilize to go to market faster? So when you do this and when this happens automatically, you save a ton of time and it gives you a lot of power back, because now all your information is condensed into one set of documents that you can even share with your team if you want to. So this is the entire second brain, the memory, the wiring, the skills, and the rhythm. This is not a hack. It's just a system that stops you from explaining yourself to AI every single time you want something. Now, having said that, if you want to learn how we use a setup like this to go out there, find and close high profile leads in the B2B niche, make sure to watch the next video where I show you how to land new clients using the power of Claude.